my phone's up. Oh,
Should be.
well, I guess we are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hump Day Hangouts episode 272. I cannot see everyone right now, so I'm going to assume that Bradley's on my top left, and we'll start with you and see how things are going. Bradley, what you up to today?
Busy. Working, working hard or hardly working. No, I'm working hard. I've been working hard for the last couple of weeks, man. I'm, after the holiday that, 1 month, really like 5 weeks between Thanksgiving and New Year's, not nearly as much gets done as I had hoped. So January is always like, and I'm sure everybody kind of tries to hit the ground running, and that's what I'm trying to do. And it's, I've been putting in long days, like 12, 13-hour days. And, but it's exciting because I'm seeing a lot of growth. So it's a good thing.
Good deal. And not to spoil one of the announcements or anything, but I know you've been cranking out some of the content for 2X Your Agency, which we're going to touch on that, but I believe the new stuff just hit today, right?
Yeah, well, we just got the training for this week added, split up, edited. I don't know if it's actually been added to the members area yet, but it will be within the next 24 hours or so. And yeah, so I mean, it's crazy because I put 2 hours in last week on, the video. It ended up getting chopped up, but it was a nice long lesson. Then this week was almost 90 minutes in total. So it's, I'm putting a lot into this for the inexpensive price. Don't let that fool you. There's a lot of really, really good information in this. So.
Outstanding. Cool. Well, I'm going to go in the order I remember it. So Chris, how you doing today?
Doing good. Unlike Bradley, I'm just like still recovering from a vacation from snowboarding.
I like your idea to, stay on it kind of through Christmas, do a little that here and there, and then go take a mid-January vacation. I think that's a good idea.
It's also like half the price if you're going on vacation. Christmas, everything is expensive. Right now, everything is cheap. So
good point.
Outstanding. Well, Marco, how you doing today?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Would you?
Excellent. I see that you're living a taste of my life, except Costa Rica. Costa Rica's all that without the humidity.
There we go. That sounds amazing. Because I was about to say, yeah, it's a little humid for me.
Well, that's except if you're on the coast, of course, because we have the Caribbean, which is the rainforest, so you can expect humidity, and of course in the Pacific. But where I live, which is the Central Valley, it's surrounded by mountains. So think of Puerto Rico and all you're seeing, but without the humidity, and that's Costa Rica.
All right, that's it. We're going down to Costa Rica, you guys. We got to do I'll have to hang out from down there. Awesome. Well, real quick, we touched on it with Bradley. We were talking, or rather, he was telling about the training. And Bradley, you're the series you're in right now. We've got kind of 3 pillars of the training. And right now, I don't want to spoil it. I'm going to let you talk about it. But you're talking about prospecting or getting clients, right?
Yeah. Well, it's about 2X Your pipeline is the first. It's cut. The entire training is going to be 3 different sections. So there's 2X Your pipeline, which is really the first 4 weeks. Then the middle is 2X Your results, which is about getting, being able to get repeatable and reliable results. And then 2X Your business is the last 4 weeks, which is about really scaling and learning how to, and outsourcing and using third-party fulfillment providers, that kind of stuff, so that you can really scale your business. So the first section is called 2X Your pipeline, and that's all about prospecting, sales, developing successful habits, that kind of stuff. So that's really where we're at now. And I think that had to be the first part, because, and last week's training was about mindset and developing successful habits, because you have to have the correct philosophy, right? The correct mindset in order to stick to it and do what you have to do to be able to generate the kind of leads that your business needs in order to be able to pick and choose which kind of clients you want to work with, only those that are the best fit, the ones that you're most comfortable with, all that kind of stuff. I hear too often from our members that their biggest roadblock to success is not getting enough clients. is client getting, like, that's the thing they struggle with the most. And then I ask them, well, how many proposals have you made in the last month? And if you get a 5 out of them, they're doing really, really well. And you should be making 5 to 10 proposals per week. You know what I mean? And there's a way to do that if you if you prospect and you have the correct mindset and you build the systems and processes. And that's really where we're at this for the first 4 weeks. We're 2 weeks into it. So we got about another 2 weeks of that to go.
Good deal. Yeah. And then for anyone who missed out, you can still get in at 2xyouragency.com. Go check that out. People have already gotten started on the training. We got some really cool bonuses as well. So definitely, that sounds like what Bradley was talking about just now sounds good. Then that's definitely something you should go grab.
Cool. So are we good? Do we have anything else?
Oh, we definitely do. We definitely do. So just real quick, I did want to talk, we going to keep it short this week, or I am, before I run off here, but we talk about it in the mastermind, we talk about it on Hump Day Hangouts, and, getting these services done for you. And part of what you're going to be talking about, Bradley, and 2X Your Agency is how do you scale? Because, okay, let's say you fill your pipeline. Now, what do you do when you have, you've gone from 2 clients to 10 clients? And part of that is getting these services. And, not everyone we talk to provides SEO services, but a lot of people watching and listening right now, I know, do that. And the place where, I don't ever tell anyone, you have to use a sole source, or you should rely on one thing. Use the best services you have available to you. And that's part of why we developed MGYB. There were services that we wanted to provide for ourselves internally, and then people started asking for them. And we said, okay, well, if we can do this, then we can provide these services. We can train the VAs like we have previously, and we can offer these services outward. So, you don't have to wait till you have 10 clients. But if you have clients, then, you should be outsourcing it to MGYB, or if there's services that we don't offer, first tell us so that we can create the services, but then, find another provider to go do that. And again, we talk about this a lot because it's important. This is one of those things that you've got to start doing if you do want to grow.
That's correct. Yep.
Cool.
So now we're good.
I think we're good, guys. Anything else want to talk about real quick? That was it for me.
I'm good. We got lots of questions, so let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get to the question.
Sounds good.
All right. Let me grab the screen. You guys confirm when you see it?
Good to go.
Good to go. Okay, cool. All right. So Robert's up first. He says business citations GMB allows for primary and additional phone numbers so that we can use a tracking phone number. However, other directories demand that whatever phone number used on the directory citation has to match the website. So if we are using dynamic phone number swap CallRail on the website, the directory citation phone number will never match the website. How are you guys getting up to the top 40 to 50 citations these days and getting the best use of call tracking numbers? Okay, well, the way the dynamic number insertion works, as I understand it, because I do that with Google Ads, but I don't use the CallRail code to do that. I use Google Ads code to do that. And now you set it up really simply with Tag Manager. It's really easy to do now. But you used to have to add like a specific code to the site, and it doesn't actually overwrite the number on the site unless certain criteria have been met, like a lead source, for example, like coming through the Google Ads, a click through from the Google Ads platform. When the page loads, Google will rewrite or display a different phone number, which is a tracking phone number. It's for conversion tracking purposes, that instead of showing what the actual phone number that is published on the website is. So I'm assuming that that's how CallRails work, or CallRails dynamic number insertion works. I don't know that to be sure because I haven't looked into it, but I'm assuming that that's how it works. And if that's the case, you shouldn't have any problem with the phone number matching the citation that's also on the website. Where the problem would occur is if you're trying to put a tracking number in the citation that's not published on the website. That's not the regularly displayed phone number on the website, if that makes sense. Because as you just said, the citation directories, a lot of them are going to want the phone number that's actually listed on the web. So if they just go directly to the website, they should see whatever the phone number is listed on the website. It shouldn't be any dynamic insertion, right? If it's a direct visit. But if it's coming through a Google ad or something like that, then it should change. So my point is that you shouldn't have any issues. And the reason I say that is because I have a lot of different clients and lead gen properties that I have the dynamic number insertion Google code on. But I also build citations, and I have no problem getting the citation directories to accept the citation with the phone number that's listed on the website, even though I'm using dynamic number insertion code, because the only time that number changes is when somebody clicks through from a Google ad, if that makes sense. So I don't know that answers your question, but I'm assuming that it seems to me like you're thinking there's going to be a problem when there shouldn't be, in my mind, at least if I'm interpreting the question correctly. Does anybody want to comment on that?
No, I think that was perfect. No, okay. Let's move on.
Yeah, you shouldn't have any issues, man. Seriously. But if that's incorrect, as far as what my analysis or interpretation of your question, then please clarify below and we'll get to it. Kyle says, hey guys, I have an affiliate website that I've been growing over the last 2 years. Over the last 2 years. And when I first discovered your channel, I created and verified a GMB at my home address to solidify my brand entity. Now my wife wants to start a baking business out of her home. Can she still create a verified GMB? If so, under what address? Similarly, if I create more affiliate sites in the future, how do I verify a GMB for each of them? Thanks. Well, that's a good question. You know, if it's you'd have to probably talk to your postal carrier to find out if they'd be okay to do this. I haven't had any issues with it when we've done this in the past, but you know, say like whatever, let's say your address is 123 Main Street. That sounds more like a business address, but let's say that's your home address. Then you could say 123 Main Street, you know, A, or 123 Main Street B, so that it's like suite numbers essentially. So that could be one way that you could use the same address for, you know, multiple GMBs without it, because it would be unique at that point, right? Or you could even do something like that. You could talk with your postal carrier to find out if they would still deliver the mail if you had added, you know, like an A and a B to the end of your street address. And a lot of times it won't cause any problems. I haven't actually heard of it ever causing any problems, but you'd want to double check and make sure that your mail is still going to be delivered. So that's one way that you could do it. The other thing I would recommend though is not to create additional GMB sites or GMB profiles for each affiliate site in the future. There's really no reason to do that. Why not create one brand and then have multiple affiliate sites under that brand? That's kind of or affiliate type projects. I mean, I guess if there's no relationship between them whatsoever, then it would make sense maybe to have different things. But, you know, I wouldn't recommend that for affiliate stuff unless you're building like a big brand for something or another. And, you know, I don't know what type of brand you're going to build as an affiliate, but you could build an affiliate brand that could have, you know, promote multiple different types of products. So that's what I would do, and work on building a brand name for that marketing business or however you want to call it. So Marco, what would you do?
I would do exactly what you said. I was thinking about this, and I would brand the affiliate. Remember Jason Quinlan? Mastermind member for a long time, then he fell off, but he created Shiny Object Reviews. And he was ranking all over the place for a whole bunch of different things. Of course, it was all digital marketing or SEO related. So they had some kind of semantic relationship. However, I'm thinking if you're, I don't know, if you have wereviewyu.com, then that brand could potentially review everything. And I think that you can get away with that as long as your schema is correct on all the different categories that you're going to, or else if you couldn't do that, then directories just wouldn't work, would they?
No.
Directories, and we know that directories work really well. So if you think on the directory model, this is thinking that they're unrelated, right? That your affiliates are going to be all over the place. You want women's shoes, and you want I don't know, leather goods, and you're gonna also review SEO products. Then you could take care of that by associating each one to the brand through your structured data. That's what structured data is for. Creating a relationship between the main entity and all the other I'm going to call them sub entities for lack of a better word, in the other categories and you could do that. You could do that on a page basis. You could do that on a per post basis, different authors, however it is that you decide to set it up. This would be perfect, what Bradley said. Now, I'm looking ahead to the next question. He says, GMB no longer allows PO boxes.
I don't think they ever did allow it.
It's always been against the terms of service using a PO box. That's why we go with PO box with street address. And that would actually take care of your affiliate problem if you want separate GMBs for each one of your affiliates. The post office, as a matter of fact, I just did one not too long ago, they still allow you to go in and ask for a post office box with a street address, as long as you fill it. Most of them don't know, right? So you have to fill out the PDF.
Yeah,
I
was looking for that file, and I can't. I can never find it in my bookmarks when I need it. But it's just a PDF that you can print off and fill out and submit, and it doesn't cost anything else to use the street address, guys. And you know that they're supposed to have the forms at the post office too, so you don't even need to print it out. It just saves some time if you do. Just tell them that you want to use the street address option. And I've only had one post office out of dozens that I've done that at that had said that they didn't allow the street address option at that one particular post office for whatever reason, which I think is bullshit. If it's the United States Postal Service, which means if it can be done at one, it should be able to be done at all of them. But you know, you can't fix stupid. So, but yeah, GMB, we've never condoned or endorsed trying to use PO boxes because I know, at least from all of my experience, whenever I had ever tried to enter in a PO box, it would immediately reject it. Like it wouldn't allow it to proceed with setting up a GMB. So when you
get a red warning sign about the address not being in the correct format. It won't allow you to enter it. So that's how you get around that is you go get a PO box with street address. That's the workaround.
Okay, so there you go. Next is Mike. Mike says, hello, beautiful people. On a mobile search, I've got this result video with jump links to timestamps. Do you know anything about it? How can I make it? I don't see any timestamps inside the video descriptions. Maybe Google is using the text appearing on screen. Take a look at this.
I have no idea. We'd have to go and type that out and go make that search and see how it looks. Different phones might get different results. I have no idea how that happens.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not into YouTube that much to know why. So I can't answer that other than I'd have to go and look. And I'm sorry, we don't have the time in this forum to go that deep into this. If you were in the mastermind though, we would definitely go and take a look at this and tell you how that's going on.
I am curious though, is it 6600-P? I'm just curious, does that show in desktop too or just mobile? It looks like just mobile. Because it's not showing timestamps. Well, it's not just one featured video either.
No, there's always that carousel.
Yeah. So it doesn't show on desktop, but it does in mobile. That's interesting. Huh. I've never seen that. And there's no timestamps in the description, huh? No, there's not. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I've not
see, we'd have to go down a rabbit hole, and this isn't the time or place for it. If you were in the mastermind, we would definitely go in and take a look and try to come up with how this was done, probably transcribed, I would guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was just looking at the transcription, but that doesn't even match up. The timestamps in the transcription doesn't match with those there. So I don't know. That's interesting. That's something would be cool to take a look into, but I agree. We can't spend all our time on this right now, but sorry, I don't know the answer to that. That's pretty interesting. That's the first time I've seen that. That'd be a good question for me to direct to Michael Bowes or something, because he's the YouTube ninja now. All right, so sorry, but that's pretty interesting to check into anyways. Nathan's up, he says, hey guys, this is just a suggestion. Okay, I read through this earlier. He's basically asking for us to provide tutorial videos on how to fill out the forms for data for MGYB orders, which I think has been on our to-do list. Is that correct? Marco?
Those questions, those are the ones that should be directed directly to support at mgyb.co.
Yeah.
Because it has nothing to do with SEO, and they can provide you the guidance that you need.
Yeah.
And yes, we are planning to have videos. We are planning. You have to remember, MGYB was done on the fly when we separated from Serve Space.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was done in record time, and we're still going through growing pains. And one of those is that we have all of these services and all of these demands by people to have all of these things ready, and which we do. But we had to cut corners, and those would be the explanation videos that you're requesting, which we are planning to do. But this question definitely belongs to support, and you will get help with that, either going directly to Dedhia or Ruzail, who's fantastic with customers over at mguib.co.
Yeah.
Rob also chimes in from time to time, and they'll take care of you.
Dan's up. Dan says, how do you deal with revenue share as far as making sure the contractor is being upfront with you? Do you ask to see the invoice for the job and then get a percentage of that? Or do you take a percentage of the profit? It depends on the arrangement, Dan. Like with tree service contractors, yes, it's, I guess, 10% of whatever the contract price is. However, I have made exceptions where if there is material costs involved, then I'll tell them it's 10% of the contract price minus so 10% of it's the contract price minus material costs, then 10% of that, because it's, most tree service stuff is not a lot of, it's mainly labor really that they're paying. So I get 10% of that. However, on revenue share, where I've done like revenue share with remodeling companies, for example, I've gotten 10% of the profit margin on a job instead of the contract price. And it only makes sense because if you think about like a kitchen job that costs $35,000 for the full contract price, but the profit margin for the contractor is only 20%, then they're making $7,000 in profit off a $35,000 contract. So they're certainly not going to give me $3,500, 10% of the entire contract, right? They'll give me 10% of the profit instead. So, that it just depends on how you work it out. As far as the, how do you verify and how do you trust? You have, that's why I don't recommend doing revenue share with any contractor or, that's the only time I've ever done it is with contractors, with any business owner, until you have developed a relationship. Or if you get some sort of, concrete written agreement that kind of spells everything out, including access for you to verify contracts and stuff like that, because you can get burned really easily and doing revenue share models with people without confirming or verifying what they're telling you is true. And I know that through experience. I used to offer revenue share right out of the gate until I got a lot of leads that were, jobs that were stolen from me essentially because they were completed and I never got paid for generating the leads because the contractors were lying to me. And that happens. And the way that I overcame that was to use a telemarketing, like outbound call center that would disguise the calls as outbound surveys that would call the leads that had come through my, my lead gen sites and just say, hey, we're calling on behalf of, and whatever the lead gen company's name was, and say, we were just following up customer satisfaction survey to find out, what it was about the offer, the estimate that we provided that, that you didn't like, what was it that caused you to go with another company? And this just, and they would disguise it as a survey like that. And what would happen is sometimes the people that they would call, the leads that the call center would follow up with would say, well, now wait a minute, we did hire you. We did end up having you do the job for us. And then I would go back to the contractor and say, confirm what jobs you did last month. And they would tell me, and if they would leave, that one or however many jobs I knew that they did out, then I would call them on it and fire them on the spot and then find another service provider. So, the way that I've learned over the years was not to offer that until I've developed a relationship. So the way that I do things is if, I'd either do on a pay per lead basis with a service provider until we've developed a strong relationship where they've paid on time, communication is good. We don't have any issues whatsoever. They're easy to work with. Then I might offer them a revenue share option. But again, I have to have a gut feeling and a good relationship developed, professional relationship, but one developed with them before I'll even offer that, because otherwise you have to have right out of the gate, you have to have agreements in place where you can verify, such as seeing copies of the contracts and things like that. You have to spell all that out up front, or else you will get taken by these people, which, by the way, I always thought it was really stupid most of the time I would get stolen from, it was from tree service contractors. And I don't mean to paint with such a broad brush, because tree service has been very, very good to me in the lead generation business. But a lot of tree service guys are just have been, they're just not very honest. And so a lot of them would steal from me. And I never understood that, because that's like killing the goose that lays the golden egg. If I'm generating leads for your business and you only have to pay for them when you've closed a sale and actually made money from that lead, it's the only time you have to pay for it. Why the hell would you lie about it and close jobs and not pay for that lead just to get caught and get fired? So that lead source now dries up. You know what I mean? But it happens, and people will take advantage of you if you allow them to. So Marco, I know you probably got something to say about it.
Yeah, like right up front, you have to ask for transparency. You have to ask for what Bradley just said. You have to have everything available to you so you can confirm what's yours and what isn't. One of the things that I have to have is my phone. I don't care what the end phone that it rings through, but it has to ring through my. And you guys know I use CallRail. I love CallRail and everything that they have to offer. But I have to have that. I have to have that go through there. Now that just controls that. It doesn't control who goes through the website, right? You have no control over that, unless you get your phone on the website, which is a little harder to do, because then there's just a lot of things. But at least if they're willing to bend on these things, and if they're willing to work with you, then you can have a working relationship. If you get a flat out no, or they're just avoiding the question altogether, and they give you a song and dance routine, just walk away.
That's right.
Walk away, because the person, you can gauge it right up front whether these people are going to be truthful with you, whether they're going to be be upfront about how much money you're making them and how much money they should pay you.
I agree. He says, when do you get paid? When they get the work or when they finish the job? I always just ask for payment once they get paid. So again, with tree service guys, a lot of the times the job will get done, and it might be 2 weeks before they get payment. And depending on who the customer is, who hired the tree service contractor, sometimes they're property management organizations, and it can take 6 to 8 weeks to get paid. Sometimes it's construction, site development companies. So like occasionally we'll get really, really big job where we got to go clear cut, do a lot clearing or clear cut a lot for construction, for development. And something like that could be a $35,000 job. And so it could take 2 months to get paid. That happens, sometimes we'll be leads will come through after a storm, and they have the jobs will be paid by homeowners insurance companies. And sometimes they take a while to get paid. So, I just always tell the contractors just to pay me when they get, when they receive those, the payment for the job. So that's how I do it, but you could work it out any which way. It really just, what I like about it, guys, is it's just kind of like real estate deals, in that you can, as long as you have agreement, everybody agrees on everything, you can spell out the terms of the arrangement up front, get it in writing, and now it's legally binding. And that's how you can proceed. So you can do it however you want, but just make sure you spell those terms out up front. All right. Dan's next question is, what is the best link package to throw at the ID pages? I've built many of them out and now need to throw links at them. Can I get away with using Fiverr GSA links, or would you suggest something else? Yeah, link building and MGYB. Dedhia, our link building manager, who has been working for me for, I think, 7 or 8 years now, he is a master at link building, and everything that he has developed has been specifically for our methods. So everything in MGYB is for the link building, and embed packages and all of that are designed specifically to work in conjunction or in tandem with our SEO shields, our ID pages, and all that kind of stuff. So, use Fiverr at your own risk, or come get it done by a professional. Yeah,
if Fiverr can work, and it has worked, and it does have its place. Even Dedhia will use because it's mostly GSA in Fiverr, but even Dedhia will use GSA. But what I always tell people is this: if you can get results from garbage, imagine how much better results you can get with linking that's done properly, that's done by the master himself, the way that we require, and the way that we get results, so that if someone does come looking, let's say someone happens to come looking, which the chance is infinitesimal, but can happen. Wouldn't you rather have those nice links in your profile than a whole bunch of garbage links that will make a person come dig even deeper in case that happens. So that's why I always tell people, yes, you can get results with garbage, but you can get much better results by doing it correctly. And we have the packages all set up in MGYB. We have, as a matter of fact, 3 different packages depending on what your needs are. So I would totally say, don't try to save when you're doing this, because you can get such just awesome results when you use Dedhia's gigs.
Agreed. Jenny, what's up? It's been a long time since he's posted a question. He says, what's up, gentlemen? Hope all is well. Just to let you know, loving your 2X your agency material so far. That's awesome. He says, recommend it to everyone who is not part of it yet and wants to grow their business. Thanks, Jenny. I appreciate that. Question. One of my lead gen personas, GMBs, got suspended for whatever reason, and my understanding, it is lost forever. Ooh, this is a really timely question. Do you recommend to use the same phone verified account to start another GMB in a different area, or is that PVA phone verified account burnt and just get a new one and start over? Appreciate your input. Well, first of all, Marco, do we have the suspension service, unsuspension service available yet? Or are we still in beta testing?
It's not available yet. We have reached out to mastermind members to take advantage of it, right? Because we always go through our mastermind first. And if I'm not mistaken, Jenny had joined recently, didn't he? Didn't he join again? If you did, reach out to us and go to the Facebook group, right? The mastermind Facebook group, and reach out to us there, and we can take a look at this and get that done, because we're offering a very special deal for our mastermind members, of course, because that's where you get all the fucking benefits. Mastermind membership has its privileges, and one of those is that we offer all of these awesome packages that we put together to our mastermind members first. So if you're there, reach out to us, and if not, then you're just gonna have to wait a little while we test out what we're testing out is the ordering process. It's not whether you can do it, because I already tested that, we can do it. So now the process is getting it all together, getting the order process set up so that it gets to the person and it gets done and it gets back to the client in a timely manner, right?
So you're talking about the unsuspension service, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So in the meantime, let me give you an answer, Jenny, that unless if you're in the mastermind, then great. You can, that's what the route I would go is. I know there's some openings for some beta testers for that in the mastermind, but outside of the mastermind, you got to wait until we get it through all of that first. So, but to answer your question, would that phone verified account be burnt? And what you probably could open another GMB, but the way I look at it is an account is, unless it's a really well-aged account that had, a lot of work put into the actual account. And if that's the case, then I would go ahead and try it, opening another GMB under that account, right? Under that profile. But if it's not, if there's not a whole lot of work put into that persona itself, then I would just start with a new one, because I wouldn't want any sort of kind of baggage coming along with that since one of them was suspended. I don't know that it's necessarily a huge negative if a GMB is suspended and you've got multiple GMBs. If only one is suspended, I don't know that it really negatively affects the others, but it's just something to be concerned about, which I'm sure is why you're asking the question. But like I said, if you've got a lot of equity built into that persona, like that profile, you put a lot of work into it. There's a lot of activity that's been accrued for that profile and all that kind of stuff. Then you may want to just go ahead and try it. I don't think it would. I don't really think it would cause that much of an issue. But if it's not a lot of work put into that profile, then just start with a new one. That's what I would do. So. Okay, good question though. Next one is looking for SEO recommendation. Joined the group about a year ago to learn some stuff, but it's all too overwhelming for me. I just don't have the mentality for it. LOL. I own a service business and have tried several SEO companies with very little results. Usually they are service business owners turned SEO gurus or a self-claimed SEO guru that everyone is using because they're on Facebook service industry group and see an opportunity to make some money. Any suggestions would be great. So essentially this guy is looking for somebody to quote him on SEO, to do SEO for him. That's a good, you can post in our group, our Facebook group, and ask for.
No, he did. He
We're
did.
not endorsing anybody though. Is all I'm telling you. you have to communicate with him at your own risk. What were you going to say, Marco? I'm sorry.
He did post in the Facebook group, in the free Facebook group, and then yeah, he got some responses, and then it just went south from there, because I don't know, people don't respect the rules, and then they start getting the personal shit. And I told him to post here so he could get a better answer from us. And we have some very successful mastermind members that we can hook him up with, depending on his budget. Right, so,
Yeah.
so
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I don't know how he can reach out to us so that we can point him in the right direction, because I want to see him be successful and come back to us and say, hey, you guys rock. And
Yeah.
I also told him, go download the Battleplan, follow the Battleplan, and then get the services from MGYB. It's not that difficult, because we made it now. It's almost like paint by numbers on the things that you have to do to get results.
Yeah. Yeah, but what I would suggest is, because we're having this discussion and Marco told you to post here, is send a support ticket, and we'll we'll post with your contact details and just a brief message about what it is that you're writing us, sending a ticket in for, and we can post it in the mastermind group. I agree with Marco. We will, if we post your information in the mastermind and you'll get people reaching out from the mastermind, we, for the most part, everybody in the mastermind is are people that we trust. That's part of the reason why they're in the mastermind. But for our free group, I'm not endorsing any of the people that are commenting unless it's people that I know.
That's why I told him here.
The beautiful thing about mastermind is the group is small enough that we know most of the members on some level or another. I'm sorry, Marco, go ahead.
Yeah, that's why I told him to post here. And when you write, give me a ballpark figure on what your budget is, so I know which person can best handle your project, because we have people who work high ticket items, some that are in the middle, and some that'll take some lower paying jobs, depending on what your requirements are. So we have all kinds of people that we can put you in contact with.
That's right. That's right. Okay, cool. Rob Wells, what's up, Rob? He says, any advice on selling SEO Shield to customers via vmail prospecting? Yeah, set up just a showcase of what it is that the results, like a results showcase. That's all you got to do, Rob. And I know you've probably got plenty of plenty of assets that you could showcase that are producing results. And the best thing I can suggest doing is especially if you're targeting a specific industry, right? So if you have some assets in a particular business vertical that are ranking really, really well, that are generating leads, that are just the entity is strong, because that's really all that the SEO Shield does, right? Is it strengthens the entity. It kind of puts it on steroids. Then you should be able to show those results. And what I like to do is just show a kind of a, like a showcase video of the type of results that can be expected when you work with me, or when you when you buy an SEO Shield, for example. Like, I don't know how you're going to call it or how you're going to resell it, Rob, but the point is like, whatever you're calling it, when you apply this product properly, this is what can be achieved, and it show that, right? Especially when if you can target that message to the same type of businesses that you have the results that you're showing, because then they can picture themselves, their business in that position, right? And reaping the same kind of benefits that the one that you're showing is obviously reaping. And so that's it, guys. If you want to know how to sell that kind of stuff, just show results that you've been able to achieve using that type of method, and then say, if you want this too, here's how you get it. That's it. That's all you have to do. I mean, that's how I do it. And vmail prospecting is a really good way to do it, because you can go right at the heart of it by showing them exactly what it is within the email itself. Okay. Any comment on that?
Yeah, I would say before and after works really well, right? You take a look at the brand before, look at the entity, and see how it's all scattered all over the place, how you might not even be appearing #1 for your branded search. It may be off somewhere in the middle, somewhere in page 2 or 3, like it happened with with Land Solutions Network, and then you just do what we do, the SEO shield, which includes an entity loop. That's what the ad ID page is, an entity loop, and that solidifies the entire entity. And all of a sudden, all of that entity, all of the profiles associated with that entity will start appearing on page 1 and 2, and you can show that before and that after. And I mean, you're God to these people once you show that. Because you have to remember, these are end users. They're not SEOs. They don't know how simple it is to do the schema, to do the JSON plus LD, to do the things that Google is looking for. But you do. And really, it's interesting, but what makes you a consultant or what makes you an expert is being 1 page ahead in the book. That's it.
Yeah.
You know 1 page more than the other guy does, and all of a sudden you're the expert.
Yeah.
So most of these people that you'll be reaching out to haven't even read the book, and you have most of the information that's in the book. So place yourself as the authority. Have these people understand how important it is, and don't go into entity. Go into brand awareness, branding, getting the brand out there, getting the message out there. That they understand, because they know Coca-Cola, they know Google, they know Yahoo, they know the Amazon, they know the big brands. So they understand that message. It's how you deliver the message also on what you'll be able to sell these people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's it. Just like I said, if you got your targeting correct when you're delivering this kind of a message, then it should resonate with your audience, whoever you're delivering the message to, right? So if you're sending video emails, if your targeting is correct, then it's you're going to have a much better response rate, right? And that's why again, you can do it more on a generic level, in that you can show results that could, from one project that could apply across multiple business verticals. But I've specifically found much better results when the target, the viewer, so your prospect, the recipient of your video email, can imagine their business in place of the one that I'm showcasing. And if it's in the same industry, just a different location, for example, then it's easy for them to see it, right? Because they can easily identify with that business that I'm showcasing in my my video email. And that's I'm sure, Rob, you've got plenty you can showcase. But for those of you that are kind of getting started, if you don't already have something that you can use as an example, build one, create one, use it as a lead gen site to begin with, or like once it's ranking and producing for you, and and all of that. But build one and use that as your showcase video, so that you can show results. That's really how you do it. Okay. Fitz, questions up. He says, "It's up, Fitz." He says, "Good day, gents. My question today is, if your site has duplicate pages, can you delete one of the pages and not cause a problem?" Yeah, absolutely. Or you could 301 the duplicate page over, one duplicate to the other, so that, in case there was any link building done to both of them, that they would both benefit from it. But yeah, I mean, if you just delete it, it shouldn't cause any problems.
I wouldn't delete it. I would 301 or canonicalize.
Canonical it. Okay, there you go. I would have 301'd it most likely, but yeah. Mohammed says, "Hey guys, I have a car dealership client that I just started with. They have a pretty bad website, one of those industry template things. They're pretty close to buying a new one, but when they do, it will take 3 months to get it ready. Would that erase the benefits of what will have been done by then? Should I wait for the new website, like an SEO shield, links, the Battleplan procedure? I've already started the GMB work, so I have something to do, but I'd really like to get done for you stuff up soon." No, it shouldn't. Remember, the SEO shield and all of that is about building the entity. Now, if you have multiple like siloed like categories and all that, and that's going to significantly change with the new site design, then yeah, there could be some, it could be some benefit to waiting, but I wouldn't wait. What I would do is just have all that stuff done. And then if the new site does have significant structural changes, like to category structure or silo structure and stuff, then the drive stack and everything could be edited to include the new, URLs and all of that. But I wouldn't wait, because 3 months is a long time, and you can push a lot of power, build a lot of authority to an entity in 3 months time. We know, because that's what we're really good at now. Marco, what do you say?
SOP in web design or redesign says that all of the pages in the old website should have corresponding pages on the new website, so that you get 301, the old to the new. And if you don't have a corresponding page, then they should be 301 anyway, so that you can carry any link juice that they might have over to the website. So those would then go to the home page, so that you don't have any 404s. Therefore, if you build links even to the old website the way it is, any links that you build are going to carry through to the new website, because you did standard operating procedures when you rebuilt or redesign the website. So just make sure that whatever it is that you're doing is being done correctly. And this is another way that you position yourself as an expert. Are you guys making sure that all of the pages, category, just whatever, are being 301 to a corresponding page on the new website? And if not, are you making sure that they're getting a 301 over to just whatever it is that's corresponding? It could be top level category, however it is that the new website is being set up.
Very good. Okay, the next question, and we're almost out of questions. That's cool, guys. Go ahead and post now, because we can wrap up early if we need to. He said, okay, he said, Will, I heard you guys discussing just ranking a Google Sites page instead of a money page with the help of a drive stack. In that case, do we just point all of the links in the drive stack directly back to the Google Sites URL, where they would normally serve as juice to the money pages? Yeah, you can absolutely do that. And in fact, remember, if you end up deciding that you want a money site later, right? So a self-hosted website later, you can always iframe in the money site pages into the G site. So it will still benefit from the G site and the drive stack that's built back to the G site, if that makes sense. So, you can always bolt on a self-hosted website later to whatever project it is that you're doing and still benefit from it without having to go in and edit all the drive stack by just going in and iframing the pages from the money site into the G site, if that makes sense. So I would still mirror it though. So if you're going to use the Google site as your money site, which is perfectly fine, guys, then, however you build that site, make sure you're building it with correct structure, everything like you normally would with a self-hosted website, right? So you still want to do all of that. And then if you end up having a money site later, then you would just mirror what you did on the G site on the money site, right? And then you would have your 1-to-1 ratio of pages and or posts really that could be iframed into the pages on the G site. So it would benefit from the stack and all the work that you had previously done. Anything you want to add to that, Marco?
Yeah, all you have to do is add a link. And then all that relevance, all that power is going to carry over to the money site in the event that you decide to build a money site at some point. The DC plumber example that we've shared often now, we weren't able to show it before. We've been able to show it. That's built on a G site. It's a G site and a GMB. And that's how it's carrying all of the power between the G site and the GMB, so that they're both ranking. It's ranking in the 3-pack, it's ranking in organic. And that's exactly how it's done. Yeah, all of the link building will be done to the G site, the drive stack, the GMB, the post, and everything that's related to that. See, don't think of it as money site, a TLD or whatever. Think of this as your entity and what's part of your entity. When you start thinking that way, then it won't matter the components of that entity, because you know that you have to take care of that entity, get your schema in place, get your ad ID in place, get everything in place. So think of it that way, and then you'll know what URLs to build links to, what URLs to embed, and everything that it is that you need to do to get it to rank where you want it to rank. It's really simple.
Okay, cool. Dan says, what link package from Dedhia can I start with based on me being on a tight budget, guys?
The basic package.
Yeah, what is it? The low competition packages, if you need to, and stack them as you can, do embeds also when you can, like a small embed package. And then you can always have links built to the embed package. So spread it out. If you can't drop $300 on a super aggressive link building package all at one time, spread it out over the course of several months and just stack multiple link building services, smaller packages over time, if that makes sense. Embeds and or link building packages. Okay. So that's what I would do, is kind of put it, because you're better off. Remember, even if you were to buy a bunch of shitty links from Fiverr gigs and you get some results, those links have a very short shelf life. And so, you know, you have to constantly be hammering away with those big ass silly link building packages from spammy links that, you know, yes, it will work, as Marco has said, but you know, if you can get links that stick around a lot better because they're coming, why do they stick around better? Because they're on themed networks. We have, you know, Dedhia has built over the years themed networks with, he's probably got well over 1 million, you know,
profiles.
Yeah, profiles built out by now. I mean, and these are all, like I said, themed networks. So the content that gets posted on them isn't just random content. The networks that he's built, they're aged, they're themed, they have relevancy, topical relevancy built right into them. So a lot of them will stick around a lot longer. Yes, many of those also end up getting terminated or deleted, like the posts and pages and stuff like that too, but not as quickly as a lot of those really spammy gigs. And also the way that he suggests doing contextual web 2.0 links for tier 1 and tier 2 with GSA at tier 3. And I say tier 1 and tier 2 to whatever you're building to. So in this case would be ID pages, right? You never, not tier 1 direct to your money site, but tier 1 to your tier 1 assets, if that makes sense. So again, it's just the process that he's developed was built specifically to work with our stuff. So, you know, I can't, Marco can tell you that maybe some of the GSA packages and stuff, like with the DC Plumber, you know, case study that they did where they threw literally 1 million spam links, like kitchen sink spam at the gsite and everything, and the drive
Porn spam,
porn links and everything. And they got it to rank, but you know, that was expensive, number one. And number two, you can still get results without needing that many links if you have a well developed link building plan. So, and that's what Dedhia does.
Link building should be part of monthly maintenance, right? It's not just a one-off thing. Well, it can be. If you get results and you stick, then it's perfect. You're not really going to need any more other than your blogging and the regular upkeep, and that might be enough. Other times, you're going to need monthly maintenance because you're going to get that boost, and then you might see it fall a little bit, and then it gets boosted again. But don't keep hitting the same properties over and over and over again. What we've been saying is to vary your link building so that all of your property, all of your tier 1 receive a link building package in 3 or 4 months before you're back to the first link building gig that you did. And in that case, you can build tiered links to the links that are already there to kind of kick them in the ass again and bring them up. So this all depends on getting maintenance. Think of your link building as maintenance to your website, except this is off-page SEO, part of your off-page maintenance.
Yeah. Okay, what is your stance on snippet optimization per the new Google update? I don't have a stance on that, honestly. I just haven't looked much into it. I know one of our mastermind members posted, Jordan actually, in our group about it specifically, but I have not looked into that. I've been kind of tied up with the 2XA your training or the double your agency training. Marco, do you have any opinions on that?
No, I haven't looked into it. I haven't needed to because I didn't see any drop off on anything. As a matter of fact, most of our stuff picked up. So since we don't rely on any one thing, right? Like we weren't relying on snippets to get traffic or to get results. We weren't relying on we just rely on our stuff ranking all over the place to get results. So we do a little bit of everything. We do like FAQ and FAQ schema, right? To try to get into the snippets or to try to get into the suggested questions and then the follow-up questions and everything that Google gives. But there's no one thing that we do that if Google comes along and hits you, you lose everything, which is what people concentrating on snippets, that's where they found themselves. Oh, holy crap, now what do I do? Because I'm no longer in snippets. Now I'm in organic, and organic isn't getting much because of the snippets. Or you were in organic, now you find yourself in zip, or you were in both and you had multiples. So we don't, that's just not how we do SEO. Now at Heavy Hitter Club, we will go deep into that because I have the solution for that, and you can, it can be the same domain. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna give it away. You can still get multiple results, even snippets and on inorganic if you do your link. Sorry, I'm not gonna get too. Yeah, I give away the farm if I keep going. There is a way. If
Marco, stop digging the hole, man.
yeah, there is a way. If you figure it out, then don't tell anyone and go and make the money like you're supposed to.
All right, cool. Thank you. Fitz says on a G site, how do you do click to call? Is that a paid thing? You should be able to just use an HTML telephone link, right?
Yep.
Which is tel : and then your phone number. That which means it'll a hyperlink. You know, you can make the anchor text or whatever what you want, but you just create the tel : command within HTML to create an HTML link out of it. You can also do a button, right? Because can't you insert an image and hyperlink it with the tel :
yeah. Anything that you could do on a regular web. Well, I'm not gonna say anything. Most anything, since we do have, it's limited, but we can access the HTML. And yes, one of the things that Google allows is a click to call number. And one of those things that allows is your images can be hyperlinked, and you can hyperlink it to a click to call. So you can either use an image with the phone number, click here, now call us, or use the phone number, or use the phone number as an image, however you choose to do it. It's not a paid thing. It's just HTML.
Yeah. Yeah. So Fitz, just go look HTML telephone number or telephone link HTML or something. Just search that for Google if you don't know how to do it. It's real simple. Just go to W3C schools or whatever. You'll see or HTML school or something like that. There's a million sites out there that'll show you very easily how to code that. It's very simple. Dan says, thanks guys. You're appreciated. You're welcome, Dan. Thank you for coming and asking questions. Max says, do you guys do a lot of SM posting for GMB? It seems overwhelming. So many moving parts. And yeah, that's why I brought this up. I don't know. Marco manages the VAs that do the posting or it's automated. But yeah, I mean, we just take our Hump Day Hangouts videos that go on our YouTube channel and, we take the Hump Day Hangout. We have a VA that chops them up into individual question and answers. And then we have the graphic designer create the cover image, goes through a whole process and then somehow it ends up on GMB. Marco, is that automated through the GMB poster or what?
I can't remember if that's probably manual because it's Semantic Mastery and it gets a little bit more love, but it can be automated through the GMB briefcase, right? Tree pads.
Yeah.
And you can get that, you can get the RSS feed. You can actually do RSS feed in and RSS feed out.
Yeah.
Through the GMB briefcase. So
it's got a new dashboard too. Have you seen it, by the way?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Yeah,
I have someone that does all that.
Within the last week, maybe within the last week and a half, they updated the dashboard and all that. It's like completely new user interface. So
cool.
Let's see. He says sorry, good to know. Do you guys do a lot of SM posting, social media posting for GMB? Oh, you mean for getting clients? Is that what you mean? I'm not sure. I know what Fitz says. GMB briefcase is awesome. Thanks. Yeah, Matt, can you clarify social? I thought you meant Semantic Mastery SM, but social media. Do I do SM posting for Google My Business? Social media posting for Google My Business. I don't know what that means. Like, do you mean like repost social media to Google My Business or post Google My Business to social media? Which way? Because you can, by the way, you can do either one of those, right? You can do both. For example, with most of my clients, we do blogging. So I have a blogger that publishes blog posts, curated blog posts to their money site, but then they publish a corresponding GMB post that links back to the blog post with just the snippet of text. Then that GMB post gets syndicated out to their social media, either to their Facebook page or their Twitter or all of the above. It can go out via IFTTT, so through a syndication network, or and then vice versa. Some of my clients do like their own posting to their Facebook pages, and we have those that end up posting over to their GMB. It just grabs the image, the same image from the post, and in some of the text, post it, and then we have just a link, target URLs that we have added that it will link back, not necessarily to the actual Facebook page or post, but to other entity assets, that kind of stuff. So yeah, you can go either way. From social media back to the GMB listing, you can do that too. Can you post social media post and point back to the GMB? Yeah, of course you can, because you can drive traffic to it that way, right?
Yeah, social media posting for GMB. So are you meaning that you want your posts to syndicate to a social media, but we're the syndication academy people. And that's just isn't that in IFTTT where again, the briefcase, you grab the RSS feed going out of the GMB and you make that a trigger in IFTTT so that you post to your social media.
Yeah. Yeah, you can automate. Well, not only that, but inside, and we've got to wrap it up, but one of the new features of the new GMB interface, or the GMB briefcase interface, the dashboard, is that it has a social. You don't even need IFTTT. It creates an RSS feed inside the briefcase also, so you can use syndication networks and IFTTT to republish the posts out to your syndication network or to your other social media accounts. But you can also add social media accounts directly to the poster now, the auto poster, or the briefcase, the GMB briefcase, so that whenever you publish a post through the briefcase, it will automatically syndicate through the poster over to the social media accounts that you have connected and integrated. So again, you can do it either way. I would recommend that you check it out. The last question, he says, Mac, I'm thinking you were asking about the best way to find buyer for the leads themselves. If you're talking about if you've created a lead generation site, how do you find service providers to purchase the leads from you? The best method that I've ever used is, we have a product for that. It's called Video Lead Gen System. Video Lead Gen System. It's vls.semanticmastery.com, I believe. And that is specifically a product that we created, that I developed over the years for prospecting using video emails originally. But then when I really ramped up my lead generation business during like the GMB boom about 2 years ago, I ended up revisiting my process for the video email process to make it more templatized so that much of it can be outsourced, because I was doing a lot of volume as far as I had a lot of lead generation assets to monetize. So I had to make it more efficient to do so. So I redeveloped the process, and that's included in this. That's what the update was when we relaunched this last year. So I would recommend that you pick up Video Lead Gen System, vls.semanticmastery.com. I think it's not that expensive. I don't even know how much it is, but I don't even know how much it is. $397. Yeah, $397. By the way, if you join the mastermind, you get that for free. Or if you join 2X your agency, it's in the sales funnel for a much, much lower price than $497. So you can always join 2X your agency for $100 and pick up Video Lead Gen System for a fraction of what you just saw on the sales page. So you guys can check it out there too. All right. Anything else, Mark, you want to say before we roll it?
Bye, everyone.
Very good. See you guys next week.